Welcome to Fact or Freestyle.
People love Dave Nourie, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get him on Zoom, we ask him to confirm rumors.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go.
All of it. and then I was trying to get the Terra Doom, and I had pulled my abdominal muscles, and I was out for 3 weeks, and it was coming right down to it. I didn't get it for the contest, but I did all these staring out into space selfies and stuff. She was loving it. She thought it was so cool. And then I came back and I did the Terra Doom.
Describe the Terra Doom for those of the audience that don't know the trick.
The Terra Doom is a no-handed jump from the front wheel to the rear wheel. And to be more specific, it is a no-handed crackpacker. Jump no hand, land. Now, land on the rear wheel and then pinch with your ankles and ride a no-hand backyard. However,
you don't have to ride out of it though, right? I mean, that's the key to that trick.
Gravity, there is this thing about the trick where your feet can't fall on gravity faster than the tire can fall on gravity. So you have to let it bounce and catch it. And yeah, I mean, sometimes when you do a trick like that, you don't have to ride out for it to count.
Yeah, I
as long as you stabilize it.
You got out of it. You made the transition to the backyard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry, Joe, what you're describing is really similar to okay, I did one season of contest. I did really awesome. I got a bit of an ego. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll be a pro. And then the next season I sucked, and it did something to me fundamentally in my high school mind. And I was actually talking to Scott Powell at that contest. He's like, no, man, forget it. Just do creative stuff on videos. I mean, that was it.
Wow.
I went into creativity mode. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really inventive. Not to say I wasn't before, because I was trying to do my own stuff, of course, but not focusing on the contest consistency necessarily. Although I had a really hard time separating that, because with my gymnastics background, I became consistent. And actually, I was doing show riding for many years because I had tricks I could throw down on lock. But the whole creativity thing out of failure at contests, I completely relate to that entirely. I think it's
Joe,
the genesis of creativity, or when it took off.
Joe, that makes sense now. Sorry, Tim, but I just want to make sure that Joe caught that. Scott Powell.
Yes,
so
Scott Powell.
When he talked about residual income, it's his residual income that he's living off, because the whole to help financially fit and create residual income.
He gets a piece of Tim Knoll's YouTube channel is what you're trying to suggest. Scott Powell was the executive producer.
Exactly.
That's what Scott Powell is getting a piece of all your videos. Is that what you're suggesting, Dave? Tim, is this true? I just heard that Scott Powell takes a piece of your YouTube revenue. Because
okay, well, are we gonna? I mean, it's not like he's trademarked any tricks. I mean, my tricks are my intellectual property. If you want to get into it and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I can attest Scott Powell being the inspiration behind everything. He was a voice along the way for sure. There's a lot of moments have kind of happened to sculpt my riding, but I'm definitely remembering that one. I remember that, and that was Metro Jam 2003. So
that's awesome. Wow. That's really cool.
So George, what was it like? I'm imagining that there was, I'm imagining, now you tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm usually spot on with all these details. I am imagining that there was some point in your life as a rider where you were like, this is great. I learned cross-handed steamrollers. This is fantastic. I'm going to take this. And then something happened and you were presented with a choice to take the blue pill and continue to do cross-handed steamrollers, or take the red pill and turn the lights off and see how far down this dark rabbit hole goes. What was that moment for you?
Actually, you were right in general, but I was never a really fan of the cross-hand steamroller. I just did this, straight-handed, and just did a couple of turbines. That was my peak with steamrollers. and that kind of positions. But yeah, at one point I figured it out that I think it was that kind of error was around when the pumping technique came up. Mostly, you know, everyone started pumping, and sure, it was a step. I mean, technically, but at that point, it didn't. I mean, I couldn't follow. And I saw that it opened a lot of doors for other people. Sure, it was amazing and stuff. Even I mean, I think it was around the period where Matthias, Dandois, and other riders started popping up. Waldemar, you know, all that guys started showing up, and you know, it was mind blowing what they were doing, and you know, positions like this, like steamroller, crack piker, half piker positions. I mean, they destroyed everything. So, I mean, I was like, okay. I mean, it doesn't make sense to follow that. I mean, they are light years ahead. So yeah, there's no way I'm gonna reach that general concept of riding rhythm. So yeah, I wasn't really good at it, so I wasn't really hyped to follow it, and the other guys did it. I mean, they destroyed it, so there was no sense in trying anything like that. So I was like, yeah, it's like quitting or depression, or you know, or you know, or start to do the crazy stuff in your head and see how it goes. And of course, it wasn't easy in the beginning, but it was liberating. That I can say for sure. Like, it felt really good. It felt really, really good. And also, it was the same era where like street riders like Stephen Hamilton and Ian Schwartz and what's the other guy from Fit? I can't remember the name. Eddie Cleveland. It was presented like a different kind of riding, the pegless, brakeless style. I mean, it had an appearance in streets. So it was like, imagine doing that in Flatland. I mean, it would be really crazy. And I was like, yeah, okay, you could do, I guess, a couple of positions. So I tried that. And at first, of course, I was, you know, I was considered a lunatic, or I mean, that it doesn't gonna add up. Yeah, like a crazy guy. I mean, I was like, oh, what are you doing? This is not Flatland. I mean, I heard that a lot, that this is not Flatland. And that was, you know, the hardest blow I took. So yeah, I had a lot of blows, and so I was like, yeah, maybe let's try it again. I was feeling okay with myself doing it, but when I came to other riders, I mean, depends to who I met. It was a shaky situation every time. I mean, if they liked it or not. So after a while, a lot of other riders, I met other riders, and I had some good feedback, encouraging. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not that crazy after all. I mean, maybe it could be something. It's a direction that you could explore. So after that, I mean, and also a really, I mean, a strong mark of that time, the encouraging period started after seeing Chad Johnston's part. I was like, okay, I mean, it's established. I mean, a veteran guy did it. It's okay. And okay, I mean, he opened the road because it was something, I mean, non-existent. I mean, as far as rules come in Flatland. So it was something, okay? So I was like, okay, of course I couldn't do even, I mean, not even pedal hang fives like Chad did it. So I chose to do it my direction, really simplistic, like really base stuff, and trying to do something completely different and take, like, minimalize every trick I could get my hands on and fitting well. So yeah, that was the turning point, and I'm glad I took the other pill.
Yeah,
Dave, every time there's a George video that comes out, I stop whatever I'm doing and I watch it, and I cheer that someone is throwing rocks at the wall of Flatland. I'm like, that's right. Take a hit. Just because you look at it and it's like, of course that works. but there is no way you would ever formulaically sit down and say, I think I know what's going to happen next. I'm going to take my leg, okay, under the bike, back through the frame onto the pedal. And I'm going to lean forward like that by a ledge. And it'll be great. Like nobody comes up with that idea without actually seeing. Anyway, but it's true. Every time I get so stoked because I'm like, it's another like stake on that mountain that is
the resistance.
Completely unlike. Yes, Viva the Resistance. I go and I get those V for Vendetta masks. It's amazing.
I got really eager too because I was going to say that George has invented positions in the last part of the decade, which is impossible because everybody thinks all the positions have already been like established.
Yeah.
George has totally invented them. I mean, think of like what you're describing, that he's like taking that that Chad Harrington, those really cool ride out videos, like doing like frame wraps and stuff, but doing it on Flatland. That's impossible. I mean, there's no point of reference for it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to you invented positions, George, and like in the context and time in which you did it is incredibly hard. Like, dude, damn.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Likewise, and just because I think it was my microphone was on mute when I first started greeting you guys. I'm really appreciative for the opportunity here to talk with you guys. And Dave said there was going to be some surprises, and I didn't know what to expect. And I'm really honored to be here with all guys, with Pedro and Dave and Tim, of course. You know, all of you guys. I mean, I've talked to you personally, like you said, and it's time also I watch a video of you guys. It's jaw-dropping and really inspiring in every way.
Likewise.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Same here, Tim. Same here. If I didn't actually spoke, I sometimes I speak with George. We text. With you, I haven't speak since Love Jam, I guess, and stuff. But dude, like, you know, like I think me and most people, anybody that sees your writing is gonna, I don't think they even have to be a writer to feel inspired.
Right.
You know, like, because just you're doing your own thing, and every time you're any of you guys, anytime you guys are doing your own thing, man, you're in the right path. You know, like, it doesn't matter what other people think or care or whatever. It's just your path. It's always gonna be like something special. So I'm stoked.
Dude, thanks, man. And again, you guys are like the legit Flatlanders. I'm the outsider of the crowd because all of you guys are like really pro level Flatlanders. I'm like the only like maybe beginner / amateur Flatlander.
Dude.
Hey, I'm not done. My Flatland purist stuff is really like, you don't go to contests with that stuff. I mean, it's not gonna work. So like to actually talk like legit professional level Flatlanders and like be like a part of like that is like really inspiring because like you guys are like the biggest rider. Like Pedro and George and like Sisman and Dave, like, I mean, because like all riders can like appreciate that stuff, right? I mean, like that's the core respect of like the people who dedicate their lives to doing this. I mean, like, yeah, you guys are like the rider's rider. I mean, and that's, I can't fuck with that.
Well, Tim, I don't know.
If you break down, say, a wheelie, right, and whatever was the last trick that I've done that anybody thinks that's hard, it's probably not as hard as the wheelie, man. Learning a wheelie, it takes a lot of time to do.
Yes, it does.
I can't really.
You know,
I have spent 5 months learning how to multiple whiplash. It's insane.
Congratulations. I've never done that. I've only gotten one at most. That's hard. That's a level beyond.
It's learning how to ride in the right-hand side, which is nuts.
But I think one thing that we can share with anyone that's watching this, the fact that the 5 of us have talked about it, that we've all had these different places where we may have questioned like our place or where we're going or what we're up to. I definitely went through that, you know, when the riding just got way past me so quickly. And then just realizing like, wait a minute, we got to just do what's in our heart and what's in our soul. And that's really and everybody, I feel like everybody has it. Like if you can just stay connected with it, I don't care what kind of rider you are. If you're a street rider or park rider or flatland, that you could just fully show up with whatever the heck you want to do and not let this, I don't know, persona of, you know, the type of rider you are, or if you're doing trendy tricks or not trendy tricks or whatnot. So I feel like that's an important message that can be conveyed here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And creativity gets more difficult over time. It's like mining Bitcoin.
Can I just say something, Dave? I'm sorry I'm like interrupting, but I'm just getting inspired. I want to have conversations with each and every one of you. So I'm sorry I'm like over.
No, that's all good.
Dude, Dave, I was gonna say with my show riding, like, you know, I do these like really my most sophisticated flatland stuff ever. And like for the general public, you know what the biggest, like got the biggest applause, a trick I learned in the first 6 months of my riding, a Nourie stand on the box jump where like the ramp riders would jump over me, and like that's the most like fireworks America like event, like, you know, and everybody was going insane, and it was like that got the crowd going. But I knew, thanks for the Nourie stand, because it really helped my show career a lot. So I mean, the coolest shit. I mean, how do you even think of that? I remember even like seeing I've learned a lot of my original tricks from like bmxtricks.com, spelled with an X. And yeah, like I kind of worked my way down the list of, but the Nourie stand, I forget, was maybe like the 10th or 11th in. And I'm like, how did you even think of that, to even come up with that? Especially,
Well,
like,
tell the story, Dave. Tell the story.
Yeah, Joe, you want me to tell the story? Okay.
No, hold on a second. Not about the time that Dean did the Dean, but talk about how you actually invented, like how that movement, irrespective of its name, was invented.
Okay. Good point. Because there's a whole another storyline, Tim, that we'll share at another time, or you can watch other episodes.
And I like my favorite aspect of that story, Dave. Imagine what I'm going to say next. Hold that, and I'm going to break your expectations. My favorite part of that story is that Peterson had a break, you didn't have a break, and you were like, I am ill-equipped for this task. But then you re-equip. That's my favorite part of the story. Yeah. And I think, like, Pedro, you the way you told the story about, like, hey, I'm at work, I can see it, I can want to do it differently, but there's all of this force saying, no, you use your brake, or no, you do it this way. I mean, and you actually said that you don't intentionally walk around actively being creative. You're like, bro, this is just my shit and how it is, and this is how I'm getting through my world. And that's actually that's my favorite part of all of these stories about how you guys came up with stuff. Is it was like, dude, I don't have everything on the bill of materials. I'm gonna have to improvise this. I'm gonna have to use duct tape. I'm gonna have to figure this out in a completely unorthodox way. And it's like, I mean, that motivates me because it is not a constant in life that you're always going to have exactly what you need to get to the next step.
Yeah.
And you have the choice to either lay down, bury yourself, just let it all be done, or you're going to try to like figure it out and go next. And I think that's super motivating. And then we want to do something maybe to, I don't want to say make it addictive, but make it not habit forming, but a good habit.
Hold on. Wait, you bring in the office? Is it like you have to buy like a lot of bulk?
So maybe buy bulk, maybe it could be a subscription. Maybe we'll mail them to you like every week.
Okay.
Like a wine club, but it's a fortune telling club.
Fortune cookie of the month club. I think maybe we'll come up with a better name for that.
Give it a shot.
Pedro, what do you think? Is this?
I'm just trying to picture it in my head, because like a lot of people think that I speak English pretty well, but I don't. So I'm just trying to make sense of the whole thing. And like, other thing is like, I'm like pretty much a primitive guy, you know, like I'm in LA, right? But I'm a legit primitive, you know, like.
Do you eat Chinese food? Do you eat Chinese?
No.
Do you see how pervasive these things are? This is part of our lives.
Dude, holy shit.
This is what happens.
I think that's
Right?
a sign,
open
Joe.
it?
Is this
Dave
a good?
Nourie,
Is
Dave.
this a good omen, dude? Is this
Yeah.
a good
Yes.
omen right now?
Can you open it up? Can you read the quote? Can you read the photo?
Let's
Please
see.
open it
Okay.
up.
Yeah, open it up and read it.
It's going to tell us whether this is a good idea or not.
This is like this. It looks like that we are maybe for George and team. We look like we are
I know, like-
making this up right now,
I know,
right?
but we're not.
I just wonder what it says on the cookie. Well, I don't know. A surprise trip in a store for you and a friend. Well,
Okay, so our point-
okay.
See, we can make a better fortune
Oh,
than
wait.
that, Joe. That's. Come
I
on.
don't know.
Who is making these fortunes? I think
Changs.
they PF Chang's. Oh yeah, PF Chang's that are at malls are like,
Yeah.
oh, surprise
PF
trip
Chang's.
to Abercrombie and Fitch. I think is in your future. I think that's corrupting
another one?
people's trust.
Yeah, we want to have
Uh,
something that's got value and actually is significant in one's life.
Yeah.
And that's why we bring writers like you that think so outside the box, and that there's messages in life that convey, in all areas.
Well, dude,
Uh,
try it.
but
What happens? I mean, I'm just saying, if like we've all tried experimental tricks before, like give it a shot, man. That was the most prescient thing ever. With a good omen. If like he pulls up a fortune cookie, if like they're that pervasive, like
I
come
didn't
on,
even move.
that was fate. You got to give it a shot now, at least. Like you must both of you follow through with this. Just give it a shot, try it. If it works, fuck yeah. If it doesn't, whatever, man. Just like trying another
Yeah.
butt trick or any idea, dude. Hell yeah,
Well,
do it.
what does George think? George, what do you think about this idea?
You know, it's a thin line with Joe's humor, so I'm still, considering maybe it's a joke or not. I'm trying to figure it out because Joe said it. Otherwise, if we're talking seriously, it would be a good, a good move.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. That's another tight 20 from this huge backlog of interviews that we've done with totally dope dudes. And I'm going to get this out. I'm doing one every morning until this whole queue is cleared out. Tell us what you like.